Hey, Brown Girls. It is Leslie from Brown Girls Embrace, and welcome to Women's History Month, and welcome to another episode of the Queen's Talk. Tonight, we're going to get into things about nonprofit and running your own business and telling the story behind your brand. So, let's go ahead and get started with the Queen's Talk. The Queen's Talk, where we honor and celebrate women on their self-love journey, where we share our stories about how we overcame past trauma and where we are now. Welcome to the Queen's Talk, Queens. Hello.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? A little tired, y'all. It's been a long day, but I'm here, excited.
Yes, we are happy to have you tonight. But anyway, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us your name and where you're from.
My name is Shawana Ward. I am from Norfolk, Virginia.
Nope. And I live like 4 hours away from you. I
Where are
live in
you?
Maryland. I'm in Maryland. I'm like
Okay,
by the DC line.
okay, cool. What about like what city?
I'm up at Marlboro.
Okay, I'm
Yep.
familiar with.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I'll be in Baltimore this weekend.
Oh yeah, okay. We
Hmm.
definitely got to talk because I see you do a lot of events in Baltimore.
Yes.
So I definitely want to come to some. This
Yes. Please come join us. And we, like I
area.
said, we're back and forth. So if this weekend you can't make it, definitely just stay tuned in because I'm excited for like spring and summer. So yeah.
Okay. What's going on this summer? I mean, what's going on this weekend?
So we're having a 2-day meditation retreat. It's accompanied by we'll have Studio House Baltimore. Let me first say that it's an art residency in Baltimore, and the women there that reside there, the art they create, the exhibits they put on. I mean, phenomenal. I haven't seen art like the way these ladies create, and so a number of them will be practitioners during the retreat. So you guys will come. You'll have a sound bath, and then it'll go into a meditation. Then we'll have a lunch break. Then we'll do like a yin yoga flow, and then that is going to go into a mindful journaling experience that'll be accompanied by drumming. That's the first day, and the second day it'll be at this place called Bars, which is another Black woman-owned art exhibit where she uses the space to basically just bring awareness to other Black artists in Baltimore. And so that's where we will be the second day. And the second day, we're going to have a wellness talk. We're going to have a juicing experience. And then we're going to end doing fiber weaving accompanied by sound bath. So it's 2 days. It's called I Am Light, and it's our meditation retreat. And so if you're in the Baltimore area or DC and you can make it up, definitely come. We may be doing a little special tomorrow as well. It's like if you sign up with 2 people. So follow the self love song and and Studio House Baltimore and get acquainted.
Okay, cool, cool. How much are the tickets?
For one day, I want to say is hold on, I can tell you exactly how much that is. So for one day, it is. I want to say it's okay. It's going the slowest today, guys. Okay, here we go.
Mhm.
So for one, oh my god, it's 118, and the 2-day admission is 175.
Okay, cool. Well, I love that you shared that with us because this space is all about Black women feeling safe,
Mm-hmm.
comfortable to share their stories and talk about mental health and self love and self care. So I want to jump into how you got started with it all. And we're definitely going to dive more back into the events that you are at presently and what you do on a regular basis. But I want to start off with how you started and why you started.
So when I went to college, originally I was going for like English journalism because I'm also an author. I'm a writer, and so I was like, oh, let me go. I'll get a job writing at a paper first, and then I work up to news. And I had this whole plan what I was going to do, but I absolutely had no motivation. So then I was like, okay, I like helping people. So what can I do to help people? Counseling, psychology is the first thing I thought of. So doing that and graduating, I got into the mental health field, and a lot of that was fueled because I had a very like traumatic childhood, like just trauma after trauma after trauma. And so I just always wanted to be well and do good. So anything that I could do to make me feel better and helping people was one of those things. That's what I did. So, but working in psychology, it really makes you aware of the way your brain works. And But unfortunately, a lot of the jobs under psychology, they're more of band-aids and not helping aids when you're really trying to like bring change. And so me being in a marriage that was,
Oh, you was married.
yes, I was married. I was married for, girl, I can't even remember, 15, 16, 5 years, but we were together for like seven. No, we were together for like nine on and off. But the relationship was just really toxic, and we had
Right.
a child. We had a child before we got married, but I just noticed patterns, and I
Mhm.
was like, I do not want to pass this stuff down to my child. So a combination of me wanting to kind of get in the field of helping people mentally, because I've just always understood that if you can keep this healthy, if you can control your thoughts, if you can think it and believe it, you can do anything. And so it was like, how do I promote mental wellness in ways that really help, that really like bring change? And so again, like me just going through trauma, like when I felt stumbled upon meditation, that I knew that was the missing component to what I was learning in school. That was the missing component to all the skills and mental health skill building, the life skills. Like if you do not have the mental capacity to withstand the daily habits and practices to maintain these, whatever it is they're giving you, it won't be effective. And so meditation really, I felt like brought everything I was doing full circle. And so that got me into learning about my chakras. I took a chakra healing course.
Mhm.
I engulfed myself in the practice of yoga. I'm actually about to take a yoga teacher training for 3 weeks next month. And yeah, I decided that these are the things that really brought big change in my life that I love. And I wanted to share that with my community. And so what started off, it's just me really like being like, wow, this is crazy. This is so simple but so powerful. I just put that into my passion and put it into what I was doing work wise, and it kind of turned into like my business now. So yeah, I know that was lengthy, but trying to give you guys like a visual because it has
Yeah.
been a journey.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about, telling this, your journey. Because when we talked earlier, I know you said you had things that happened in your childhood, but you missed the you didn't mention that you was married and
Yeah,
you broke up and everything like that. So every when I'm talking to a lot of people on the Queen's Talk, everybody has a story that they tell,
yeah,
and it's a reason. A lot of us coaches and or becoming coaches or whatever, or psychologists or whatever, is we are this because we have been a lot of 9 times out of 10. If you have a psychologist, 9 times out of 10 they've been through something,
yeah.
and they want to help somebody that So for me, I wanted to help people um, that was okay. I felt like people wasn't there for me, and there
Mm,
was no space, no outlet for me. So
yeah,
I wanted to offer that space for people to tell their story and tell their truth of why you now want to help other women, because that's a beautiful thing to um, just teach somebody right from wrong and guide them in the right direction. So I think that's beautiful. So if you don't mind, just take us back to childhood and how you got all the way from even thinking about psychology,
mm.
going to psychology to wanting to help women now.
So me and my mom don't have the healthiest relationship because of her own like instabilities. And so early on I just became a big nurturer. I'm the firstborn daughter. So
Okay.
if you know anything about that, we just have a different expectation that is put
I'm an
upon
only
us.
child, so I'm just
Yeah. So you
expectation.
yeah. So so it's like she was not capable of showing up the way that she needed to. And so I just assumed the responsibility. And so I don't know, but it was natural for me at the same time. I think I'm a natural nurturer anyway. And so I feel like from there I always took on that role in school, like everywhere I went. And so that I knew when I went to school I wanted to do something with people. Like I knew because I love people. I say now I don't know how I feel about that no more. Now that I like one, now that I know who I am, now that I understand my purpose and I understand people, because while I love self-awareness because it allows you to understand people, when you really see people, you could be like, "Oh my God," like, especially when it was people that you really loved. And yeah, so knowing that I wanted to work with people, I dove myself into so many things. And I think, like I said, going to school for psychology, being involved in those type of courses, being involved with those type of people, always been in the mentorship type job. Like when I was in church, I did praise dance. I taught the younger girls, um like I always did mentorships where I just took younger girls under my wings. And then even when I did intensive in home, I still have some relationships with some of my clients because the bond was just, that way. So I knew I wanted to continue doing what I was doing, but to me, it just had to be effective. And so I honestly can say that I think I took a little bit of assuming those responsibility as a nurturer as a child, the mentorship that I did, when I was in college and throughout those years, being a mom, having to parent my parents. I think I took all of those things and the practices that helped me
Oh,
first
wow.
choose myself, because that was something I never did. As I just told you, my whole life I had to take care of somebody else. And so when I finally found myself and learned to
Mhm.
put myself first, I learned just how good I could be when I show up healthy for people. And that sparked the self-love song pretty much. This is how I can show up for
That
people in a
part.
healthy
I
way.
like
Mhm.
I like the part where you said the healthy part of you, because a lot of people don't realize until you start healing yourself, everybody else around you start becoming healed as well. Like you
Yeah,
be a better person for yourself, for your kids, for your parent, because you have now controlled your emotions, your feelings, your thought process. So you're not only doing it for yourself, you're doing it for others too when you start your self-love journey and starting to
absolutely.
come self-aware and self-empowered. So that's
Absolutely.
beautiful.
That's why
So
my
tell
favorite
me how.
quote to say is self-care is not selfish. I have a whole reel
Yes.
talking about like breaking the myth because I was like, if you really understood it, you would so indulge in it because it just when you it's a natural show up because everybody's showing up loving themselves. There's no ego, there's no combat. Everybody's like you're in harmony. And if I need support, you support me. It's just a balance. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut across you.
No, I love it. This is good energy coming out. I love it. Like I and it's unfortunate that society today we are all competing with each other. We are
Yes.
trying to outdo each other.
So
We're not in
legislative.
unison with each other. We're not embracing and saying, "I got you, sis. You got this, brown girls." Like we're not.
Hmm.
It's just so it's like I look for people who are
Yeah.
like you who want to help other women because it's such a lack of it nowadays.
And we're it's a lack of it, and we're so much better together. Like we're all fucking dope. I don't know if I can curse up here, but
It's
we're all so dope. So if you put three dope black women in one room, do you know what we can do together? And I just and even outside of that, on the other hand, that support wise, like love wise, there's strength in love and in unity, and that's powerful. Love is the ultimate law of everything. So it's
yeah.
why wouldn't you want to that's where the predominantly love came from like that.
Okay,
So
we're
yeah,
gonna get.
you trigger something when you say that because I'm that, and me going through friendships and connections too where that love was not reciprocated, that also has a lot that
Oh,
fuels.
friendships. Let's
Come
talk
on,
about it.
come on.
When you giving yourself to your friend and you think like
Hmm.
you my sis, I got you, and they don't do it in return, it
Hmm.
is heartbreaking. Like, dang, but I did this for you, and my friend's like, why you always gotta repeat what you did for me? I'm like, because I want you to do the same thing for me,
Right.
but I can't change who they are. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I can accept it, and of course we do it from the heart because we love it. But of course we want the same kind of
Well, it's
nurture.
reciprocity. It's a
Yeah,
human thing, right?
we want it back or whatever. But
Mm.
I think that's beautiful that you've helped your parents, you help your son, your friends or whatever, and now you have a business helping other people doing that.
Yeah.
It was something I was about to say, but I forgot. But anyway, the next question. So when you was in college in psychology, was you living on campus during this situation or?
The first year, the first full year I was on campus, and then my second year I was home. And going into my second semester of my sophomore year, I got pregnant with my son.
Oh, okay, okay,
Mhm.
okay.
And
Now
so
this is
I
what I want
stayed.
to ask you.
Yeah,
That's what I wanted to ask you. Now that we are separated from mom and dad and sisters and brothers and stuff like that, I don't know the dynamics, but now that we're separated and you were alone, because things are totally different when we're on our own
yes.
and our environment is different, our mindset is different. How was things after you left? Your foundation when you was raised and you entered into kind of like independent world.
I feel like there was a lot of I faced a lot of parts of me because I feel like that's when I really started seeing myself. Like when you so busy focused on trying to help everybody else, you just neglect. You don't even you like floating through life for real, for real. And I did that for such a. I went on autopilot. I think when I had my son, because immediately it was like I'm about to bring a child into this world, and I cannot live
Mm.
the way that I grew up. I just can't do that. So it was like I don't even. Girl, I remember one day in 2020, and I was fully on my own again. I think I had a roommate at the time, but she had a daughter, and I remember sitting down on the floor and just breathing. I had just started like doing my business. It was all virtual at the time, and I was meditating, and for some reason, this particular meditation set me down. Like it literally felt like gravity was sitting on my body, and I was sitting, and my son was sitting next to me, but I was like, there's really a little human sitting right here next to me. Like, this is not a figment of my imagination. For the past 9 years, there's been a little dude attached at my hip. This is like a whole life. And I just started crying. I wasn't upset, but it was like, I think it didn't hit me until that year because he was 8 at the time. It took 8 years for me to realize you're a mom. But I had been momming for 8 years. So I went off on that tangent, but what was the original question? Because I went off on a tangent. It was the reason why I said that.
No, I said when you left your home and you started to become on your own and you left your foundation, how was the mindset changed then?
So that story, that was it. 8 years of being on autopilot. But seeing myself and trying to physically change the inside of me. So I was like I said, my job and profession I worked in, I was married. I was even helping people like in a different way as far as like his family, because that was my new family. And so but it allowed me to see myself outside of my family. So I was trying to fix myself with the physical. But then I realized, well, it don't matter what you do on the outside that you change. If the internal is not changed, if you haven't got to the root of why you're even overexerting and trying to save everybody, the savior complex, because you weren't saved, like, and sit down and now it's time to really heal those things. Like, it's just a whole nother shebang. And so when I finally sat down, that was when I realized you're not even supposed to be in this marriage. All this was you on
Wow.
autopilot trying to show up as something that whatever. But I didn't know. I
Yeah.
wasn't aware. So yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever start counseling or therapy
Oh
yourself?
yeah, early, way before I ever got into facilitating anything for anybody. When I was just a mom, I got myself in therapy then. I've been
Yeah.
in therapy with my ex, but I've been going for myself. I'm in therapy now. I got
Yeah.
appointments. I go every 2 weeks. But I've been going consistently since 2019, on and off since 2016.
Yeah. That when I was 25 was my when I was always angry. Like if somebody like said to drink, like I don't know, my mom could might sip a drink of my drink or whatever. Like I would go off.
Yeah,
Like, is it that deep? And she was like, always like, why are you so angry?
right.
And I was like, I don't know. And then I checked myself into therapy and I was like, okay, let me see what's wrong with me. Cause I do snap like real quick, like
Yeah,
anything with just snap. And when I took the intake form, I felt like a ton of bricks was off my shoulders because I didn't realize how much stuff I was holding back from my
yeah.
childhood that I was mad at. Like, whoo, I was mad at a lot. But
Wow.
I would recommend therapy to anybody, just counseling. Because sometimes we can talk to our girlfriends or whatever, but it's different when you're talking to somebody on the inside that's about to talk to
Right.
somebody on the outside that kind
Hmm.
of like
They can see
mentally
a
where
different perspective than we can, because when we close, it's almost meshed energy. But this person is just analyzing what you're telling them, and they're breaking it down. And it's like, ooh, I would have
yeah.
never. I love therapy.
Me too. And some people are like, I know my mom's generation, older generations are like, oh, why do you just read the Bible and pray? And it's like, but sometimes you need more than just
Yeah,
prayer. You need,
yeah,
a physician to talk to,
yeah. We're going
so it
through
definitely
real
has
life
helped me.
situations. Yeah,
Yeah, it definitely does help. It made me a better person. And it's during the pandemic, I talk about this a lot on the Queen's Talk, is that during the pandemic that I felt like that was the best thing that ever happened to me because I was alone and I got to be with my own thoughts and do what I really wanted to do and just enjoy what was on my mind. So I just think that the pandemic was good for me during the pandemic and therapy was good during the pandemic because um, I feel like I already kind of knew who I was, but I found more of myself during the pandemic.
wow,
So
that's
that's the next. Yeah, thank you. What's the Well, that was the next question for you is how was it doing? I know we kind of skipped over, was talking about therapy with you in college, but how was it for yourself when you was going through the 2.5 years of the pandemic
I
mentally?
honestly, I feel like I really, because I had just begun my journey, not just begun, I was like walking in my journey then. The pandemic kind of the pandemic shifted a lot for me in a positive way, because I hit that, they say right before you hit the peak of like, or your, a certain point, like God kind of got to sit you down to ground you, to make like
Yeah.
anything that's unhealed has to go before you ascend like higher. So I had literally saw myself like right where I was trying to get to, and then life like crumbled, went into this huge depression, like literally lost everything. But that was when I had my spiritual awakening, and right after that the pandemic happened. So I kind of went through this really, really intense self-awareness healing process right before it happened. So I kind of
Mm.
laughed when it happened at first, because I was like, dang, I was like saying I wanted to work remote and all this stuff, and then it happened. So at first it was kind of like funny to me, but then I took it very seriously, because I definitely got COVID twice. But
Oh, wow.
I
I did too. Ugh.
I think back at this point we all have gotten it. I remember I worked at a
Yeah.
medical school, and the nurse was like, "I don't know why everybody's panicking. We're all gonna get it." That's literally what she said. And I worked with in the surgery department. So, but anyway, um, girl, I can go off on a tangent. So we were talking about the pandemic. So I launched the self-love song during the pandemic, literally at the peak, July of 2020, but it was all virtual. And so I had, like I said, meditation, and I had just finished my chakra healing course. My roommate was a yogi. And so I was like, yo, let's just hop on Zoom once a month. People can open up and share what's been going on mentally. We're gonna do a meditation, we're gonna do some yoga. Boom.
How was that?
It's still going. Now that's the self-love song. It wasn't called that. Yes, it was a self-love song, but it was under Firstborn Daughters. We'll talk more about that later. But yeah,
Oh, firstborn daughters. That's deep.
but that birthed what my business is now. The self,
Wow.
yeah.
You know what? It's going to be a lot of firstborn daughters.
Who come to
Well,
be,
that said,
listen, God showed me the whole vision, but because
wow.
Firstborn Daughters was just a way for Firstborn Daughters to kind of write out their story. So thinking about times of their life where they had to show up in ways and the expectations, and healing through that, not carrying those unrealistic expectations into our adult lives. So and that's, and doing that self-love. So the workshops was a branch of that, but I wanted women to submit their stories, and I want to get them. I don't know if you remember like chicken noodles or chicken soup for the teenage soul, and I think it was like a compilation of stories when we were in school. This I
Yeah,
want
I remember.
to be on
But
some,
girl, I thought you was talking about chicken noodle soup, the song.
girl, shout out
Yeah.
to but girl, I love, and that's another thing. The self-love song incorporates music. Whole nother story. But
Yeah,
um
we're gonna get into that. I want to get into this the brand
yeah.
self love songs.
But yeah, so let me summarize. I'm sorry, y'all. I can talk.
Yeah.
So Firstborn Daughters, the workshop was a way for them to come and get well or whatever, to release. And the story started. I have some, and I'm working on starting it as a blog first before it's published. And then the Facebook group is really jumping right now. I got to start that back up. But I said all that to say, it was originally just for that, but it's turned literally. It's a high demand for it. We put on different events in the area, and it's a beautiful. It's really starting to blossom now, and I'm really excited for what I'm going to be able to share with you guys all over, this year. So yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so I know we kind of went different directions. Both
Yeah.
of us went in different directions a little bit. Okay, so let's go back to you in college. Then you said you was alone, and then you got pregnant. So tell me how things was when you got pregnant. Were you sad? Were you depressed? How was that? Because I never had a child before. I never been pregnant, but I heard that you go through a lot emotionally when you get pregnant. How was that mindset
Extremely
there?
depressed.
Huh?
I was extremely depressed.
Oh,
The
phew.
entire first, the entire first two trimesters, I was depressed, and it wasn't until the third one that I was even comfortable in my body while I was pregnant. It
Oh
was such,
goodness.
because it felt, girl, I don't even know if I'm ready to talk about that on live, but it was so, just the way it happened was crazy. So yeah, I kind of had to like Another time while I was floating, it didn't even really set in for me until I was in my third trimester. And then I was happy about my bump, and I was excited to meet my son, and wanted to see what he looked like. I just was trying to imagine it. Best thing that ever happened to me. So
Most moms say that, like, I don't
yeah.
know what life would be without him, and they just
Mhm.
overjoyed when. So okay, and then they say that there is postpartum. Did you go through that?
Yes. And I
How
didn't
was that?
realize it. I didn't realize it until later. But definitely, because I was by myself. Like, soon as I came back from the hospital, my ex had to go back to work, and he worked at the shipyard. So I don't know if you know anything about shipyard. That is just like, it might
Overnight
as well
stuff.
be prison. It might as well be prison. But it's
Oh,
an opportunity to make a lot of money. But you're gonna pay for it in your physical labor. That's all I'm gonna say. Depending on what you do there. So yeah, so he went back to work and I was at home, and we were staying with his parents at the time, but both of them worked full-time jobs as well. So it was just like just me and my son. Now we still have a crazy bond to this day, I think, because it was just me and him even afterwards. Even when I went back to work, it was just us for a long time because his dad did work second shift. So we got like a special bond, I feel like, even though we try each other's nerves so bad, child. But
mm,
that's my
yeah,
baby.
yeah. So you had your son. You go back to work, and your son is in school. How was work life for you? And starting being now you have a child, and you're working, and that's a lot. That's a lot that women go through. We have these kids, and then we have to deal with the load of work and
Mhm.
the load of a child. How was things for your career wise? Is mentally going to work and dealing with coworkers and stuff like that?
Honestly, Ezra just motivated me in a different way, for real, for real. To me, it wasn't a thought. This is what I have to do because
Hmm.
I'm a mom now. I like assumed the responsibility, and I got blessed. My personality anyway. It don't really matter where I work at. I just love people, and so I find people that I love at
Hmm.
work. So I don't care where I work at. I'm gonna have a good time. I have such great memories everywhere I've worked now, memories with the people. I ain't talking about the job per se or different things that I had to deal with there, because it's always whatever. But I met some amazing people, that I still talk to this day, and I really established myself within my career. But I feel like my son motivated me to even
I
have
got
that
you.
mindset. You know what I'm saying? So while it was stressful, I burnt out after about 6 years being in the mental health field, trying to be a mom. I went back to school, tried to go back to school to get my master's. I didn't finish because I hit a wall eventually, because I did that without complaining on autopilot for 6 years. So eventually I smacked the wall though.
Okay. So now you have this brand. Tell us about the different brands you have on social media and how all that got started.
So I kind of told y'all how I got started, that whole
Yeah.
journey.
Talking about actually.
So now let's present day talk about what it is.
Mhm.
So, like I said, the self love song started as just a once a month Zoom call for people to check in and have a safe space. Turned After doing that for almost a year, um, I had the opportunity to do it. I started doing it on live on my page, which brought me to, there were a lot of people starting to do wellness in the community, and when they saw it, it was like, "Hey, would you come do this in person?" I was like, here we go. So I ended
Mm.
up going to do that a few times. So I started doing it in person. And the girl I was collaborating with at the time, what I love about collaborating with Black women, we'll barter. And so she was telling me, they needed somebody to help with social media. And she was like, they were thinking the barter for that is, the pay for that is, you can use the venue for whatever you want, for however long you want on one day of the month. I was like, the self-love song. I can bring this from virtual to in person. So I had the first session, and I had, I've been through a few practitioners, but now I know why. It's because I'm supposed to work with different practitioners in the area collaboratively. It's not just supposed. Anyway, that's another story for another day. So I did it the first time in person, and from there, that was it. We started doing it. We was doing it once a month. The demand increased. We started doing it twice a month. We started traveling to Baltimore. That's how I got the connection to Baltimore. We started this girl's hat, because wellness, because of the pandemic, wellness started booming. And it wasn't my plan, because I hate how oversaturated it is now. It annoys
It's
me.
very.
I don't like how the practice is disrespected in so many different ways. because I'm very rooted in my spirituality, and I'm only doing these things because it's been spiritual for me first. Yes, I tailor it when I go into the professional world with it, but it's even then they be having a spiritual healing at work. Okay, so for me, it's about just it's who I am. But I said all that to say the demand increased. We started doing it in Baltimore, the wellness studio up there, once a month. So we were in Baltimore once a month. We were here. Then I got connected with other people in the area. I started doing pop-ups, and we just have expanded. We've been from New York, like I said, Baltimore, oh my God, all of the 7 cities in Virginia. I'm trying to think. I feel like I'm skipping a few places. And then I really deepened my practice as a practitioner when I was in Richmond. I lived in Richmond for a year up until last October. Worked in a wellness studio, led meditation classes, and all the while, still doing my workshops. And so now we do workplace wellness sessions. We're getting ready to do yoga and meditation at a school in Virginia Beach next week. I've done a lot with universities. That's something I don't know if I'm going to disclose that information yet, but I'm about to be doing a lot on the university level as far as like mindfulness practices and things like that. But we combine so mindfulness, meditation, movement, yoga, or any type of body movement, and then music. So incorporating, because music is healing too, vibrational healing. We do sound baths and stuff too, but using music as a tool, because as much as I love hip hop and I'm a music connoisseur, like that's what I love. Certain music and words, those are like rituals. It's like when what you listen to is what your mind meditates on, and that's what you project that energy. So I chose to take music and use what I love about it, but make it work to my benefit. So chakras are your different energy points along your baseline of your spine. And within each chakra holds different parts of who we are and how we function. So say you like, you want to listen to some ratchet stuff. Well, if you're trying to get into a mode where you want to be productive, listen to ratchet stuff in the morning, because that's going to boost your solar plexus chakra, causing you to have motivation and the energy to get stuff done. If you trying to be sensual and you babe coming over, whatever, you're gonna listen to some Summer Walker, because that's gonna spark your sacral chakra and you want to be in your intimacy, whatever. Or if you're trying to be creative, right, that's sacral chakra.
And Instagram knows that, because Instagram be having all the dirty stuff pop up at night. When
Okay.
they know it's that time when the sun is going down,
Mm-hmm.
they all these little stuff be popping up, and this is like,
Mm-hmm.
is this program?
So I say all that to say music is very programmed to push certain agendas. So I choose to tailor it. So we make playlists based on each chakra, so that combines some of the best, very neo soul type vibes. It's a mix of all kind of music, really. And so we use music and create playlists for each workshop and each event. And it's normally based in one of the chakras. And the point is to use these great creations of music before our benefit. Because like I said, too much of listening to certain stuff really does affect your mood. You listen to too much sexual stuff, you always gonna think about having sex. You listen to too much ratchet, you ready to beat somebody's ass all the time. So you gotta kind of use it on your behalf. Like I'm in a period right now where I'm not listening to really much of anything, but I'm busting these playlists out and they're really good. But it's because I'm doing it from a place of not just feeling, because I am a feeler, I'm an empath. So yeah. So self-love song is a combination of mindfulness, movement, music. We do our written reviews on songs that's incorporated in the playlist, why we chose it, why this boosts certain chakras, and why the song is just so amazing. So it's just a combination of those beautiful 3 M's.
Yeah. Some songs I do like self-love challenges, and in the self-love challenges is like, get together your playlist for the week.
Mm-hmm.
And listen to your playlist on the way to work or whatever, or on your way doing errands or whatever. And that's definitely calming. And to go back to what you were saying about the things that you listen to, there's a lot of motivational speaking that I do.
Mm-hmm.
That I listen to.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm sad or whatever and I want to be motivated and I want to do more for my business or whatever, I'll turn on some motivation, and it does. Like, I'll play the Bluetooth in my car. I'll play, and I feel 10 times like I'll be motivated. Like, listening to all them shorts, and they motivating you to stick to your goals, and like, I'm ready for this. So the things we listen to does affect our mind and how we treat and react to things like that. Even what you said was you don't listen to music right now because it can be a distraction. I know for some, music can be a distraction. Sometimes I'm in the house or I'm in my car with nothing on.
Yep.
It's so many things going
Same.
through my mind
Mhm.
that I can't.
I need silence.
Yeah, just to
Mhm.
think, and I have ADHD too, so I can't multitask and do a lot of things
Me
as
too.
well, as well too. So, when you was going back to you saying friendships and people around you and setting boundaries and stuff like that, I talk about that often too. Is just that when you have goals and you want to stay focused, you got to surround yourself with people that are doing the same thing as you. You
Mhm.
have to be in the same mindset, in the same space, and the same thing that if we listen to reality shows where they fighting each other, what is
Mhm.
that going to do to us? Make us angry and want to fight somebody the next time they say something to us.
Exactly. Exactly.
So we got to listen to things that we want to, that are in the same, align with what we're aligned in, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
That's,
Totally
that's all I
agree.
was That's all I was saying. So anyway, we're gonna wrap this up. What is next for you? Like, what's coming up? I know you said something's coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
What other? You have an agenda of where we can find you, or what different events you will be at?
Yeah, so you can you can subscribe to my website and mailing list at predominantlylove.com. You can follow me on socials, predominantly love on everything except Twitter. It's everything PDL and the self love song. And so if you follow the page, we have events, like I said, 1 to 3 times a month. We do a lot of collaborations in the area as well. You can book one-on-one sessions as well. So if you want a one-on-one meditation session, I also do um, different healing and different chakras. So I base my meditations based on that. I also do tarot, so I kind of use that as well in sessions to get specific about different issues you may be having, so that we can meditate on that, pray on that, and release those things out of whatever area needs to be released. So you can follow, like I said, all those platforms. Care More on Sundays is also, that's a wellness holistic pop up that's starting back up on April the 2nd. They hit all the cities in the 7-5 as well, and they also travel. I got meditation at the end of the wellness session. But you can go and there's all holistic vendors. You go do the pop up. There's art that goes on, and they even do music before we go into the meditation. So it's kind of like a self care Sunday vibe. You can catch us there.
Where is that? That's going to be in
The
Newport
first
News.
one is going to be April 2nd at Art House Noir in Portsmouth. That'll
Okay,
be when
Portsmouth.
the first one is. They'll be in Baltimore. Hopefully, the same place we'll be having our retreat this weekend at Studio House Baltimore. Please get linked with them as well.
Yeah, please. I'm gonna
Yes,
DM me if I can't find it.
yeah,
Okay.
Studio House Baltimore. I mean, just amazing, amazing artists there, and they're all on their wellness journeys as well. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So there, bars, that's another place. But yeah, it's a lot of ways to connect. But if you follow those two platforms, you will see all of these other platforms I'm talking about as well, because we all just kind of support each other and keep each other lifted. So yeah, just all your wellness needs really, whether that's yoga, meditation, you want to get into clay molding. Like I said, at the meditation retreat this weekend, we doing clay meditation, fiber weaving, the list goes on of the practices that you can, or just well-being and fun, being in around like-minded individuals from those platforms. So make sure you follow.
Okay, cool. Okay. And I am Leslie from Brown Girls Embrace. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and check out my products. I just have a new self-care box. It's my hair mask, my body butter, my face mask, and my hair wrap. So go check out, in my roller. So it's my spring box. So don't forget to check me out. I'll be vending this summer. And I want to be just like you, because say your name again.
Shawana.
Shawana. Okay. I don't want to say it wrong. Shawana. Okay. So thank you everybody for joining, and have a good night.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Oh wait, is that me? Am I getting off now?
No, you don't have to.